Where are we calling in from, family? I'm in Houston, Texas. Where are y'all calling in from? We got Pittsburgh in the house, New York City in the house. I love New York, man. I actually lived there for a little period of time. London, shout out to y'all, man. I know it's probably a little late out there, so shout out to the London squad. We got Georgia in the house. What's good? Chicago in the house, Nigeria in the house. What's up, Nigeria? Welcome, welcome. What time is it out there, man? What time is it out there? Just answering to the live IG live. How do you join? What you want to do, man, is go hit the link in my bio. Go hit the link in my Instagram bio. You can go ahead and tap in. All right. So look, I'm not gonna waste y'all time today, man. We're gonna dive straight into it. All right. One thing I do want to kind of just touch on is, we like to speak real briefly about the previous week. And one thing I could say, man, just truth being told, being fully transparent, last week beat me up bad, man. Like last week was a strange week for me trading wise. And, I went through the losses that every trader experiences. But, when you become accustomed to winning and when you become accustomed to, getting a certain level of results and then you have a terrible week, it kind of hits you like a ton of bricks, right? And, I really had to practice what I personally preach to all of you guys, right? I'm always preaching mindset. I'm always preaching proper risk management can save you from a string of losses. I'm always preaching all of the things that you've heard me say over time. I found myself really having to dive back into those fundamental principles myself as well, because I went through one of those weeks where it felt like I couldn't buy a win, right? And we all go through those moments. So I don't want y'all to feel like it's unheard of or anything like that. It happens, right? It just so happened to happen to me last week. So, it's good to, I ain't gonna say it's good to have those weeks, but they're necessary because you get to actually have like a mental reset. When you're on a winning streak or when you're on a streak of high profitability or high, win percentage and stuff like that, sometimes you tend to start taking shortcuts, right? And it's human nature to get a little more complacent the more you win. And I realized even last week, due to the Super Bowl and stuff like that, I didn't even do my weekly outlook call, right? I was preparing for the Super Bowl, moving around, doing a lot of stuff. So I didn't even do the weekly outlook like I typically do. So I started the week off doing things different than I normally did. And I kind of seen it trickle into the rest of the week where, I actually took multiple losses, right? And I say that to say, regardless of where you are in your journey, we all go through the same things. We all go through the same obstacles, the same trials and tribulations. And that's when you got to understand that, we all in this process together and nobody really masters everything 100%, but you just get 1% better every single day. I struggle with the same things y'all struggle with, but me doing it longer, me working at and sharpening my craft a little bit longer has allowed me to become profitable, right? But we still deal with losses. We still deal with FOMO. We still deal with anxiety. We still deal with all of the emotions that come along with trading full time, right? Or whether you part time, full time, whatever it might look like for you. So just understanding that, I want you guys to be patient with yourself, right? Be patient with yourself. Respect your process. Respect the highs and the lows, right? We can't just be super excited when everything is going great, because anybody can have a positive attitude when things are going great. That's easy. But can you have a positive outlook even when things go against you? That's how you bring your account back from after you lose, X amount of percent or X amount of dollars. That's how you bring your account back in the profit. That's how you bring your account back up to, you was about to pass a challenge. Now you in drawdown. That's how you bring your account back, right? All of the positive thoughts that you can actually have after having maybe a negative week. And a lot of people don't talk about this in terms of trading. Every week ain't gonna be profitable, right? This is why the large institutions, if you trade for a fund or anything like that, they're gonna ask you about your quarterly returns. What are your yearly returns? A lot of professional traders not even worried about what you do on a week-to-week basis, because anybody can be profitable for the day. Anybody can be profitable for the week. right? But it's the people that's going to be profitable quarterly, yearly, right? Those are the people that's going to really have longevity in the industry. I've seen so many people have a good week, good month, and then a couple months later, they don't even want to trade no more. I've seen it time and time again. You see people that trade and they love it, and then now they're taking time off. They took 6 months off because the highs and the lows became too much for them to bear. So I'm telling y'all this because I want y'all to have the mental fortitude and the toughness to understand that even me, being somebody that trades full time, I go through the same roller coasters. We all in this thing together. All right. So last week it got rough, right? But we here to bounce back. That's what we do best, right? You gotta take loss to be a boss sometimes, right? So with that being said, coming back to it, GBP USD, I still got the same outlook, right? I wanted to take buys underneath 1.25175. And one thing that I noticed is that I sent this setup when the market was like over here, and then the market started to shoot up again, right? Now, one thing I realized is that even though the market is shooting up, it doesn't negate that price level, right? It just means that we got more internal structure forming in the meantime, but we could still very well come back down to this level of 25175, come underneath these equal lows, and then reverse to go bullish, right? Just understanding what it is that's happening right here. I do believe that since the market actually popped up above this high, it tapped into this imbalance a little bit. I actually believe that the market will probably start the week off bearish, right? And as we continue down, to clear out these lows with the bearishness, that's where I'm expecting bullishness to kick in again. All right. So I'm still very much bullish on this pair overall. I do just feel like we'll probably get some intraday sell setups and some intraday sell opportunities on GBP USD. So, if you get a solid retracement of some sort, by all means, I feel like you could probably set your stop loss to take your entry and set your stop loss strategically to go ahead and target these lows, because whenever I take a trade, I'm just paying attention to a few different things, right? I see that we got a high and then that we cleared that high out. On top of that, I also see that we have lows that could be used as future targets. So now that I see highs that are clearing highs and then I see lows that could be future targets, that just tells me that when the market retraces to a certain point, I should take sales towards those future targets. So once we come and clear these lows out, I feel like that'll be a perfect place to take profit, right? That'll be at what is that? The 2.5. Let's just say 1.2535, just to make it easy to follow. Let's just call it 1.2535. And we can call it a day right there. All right. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at to start the week off. Once we get down there, let's start to look for longs again. I do believe the longs will clear out all of this area. So once we clear out those lows, I'm expecting GU to come and take out all of this, right? Because when we have a super big imbalance like that, it's creating a large volume imbalance, but it also pulls the market back in that direction, right? So I'm expecting for all of this to be cleared out, and we could possibly go more towards 1.27. All right. So once we get up there, that's one thing that I'll be looking for in terms of GBP USD. We're gonna keep it pushing. Just a second, yo. So now we got Nas 100. All right. All right. So look, let's talk about what we got going on with Nas 100. Man, I actually talked about this last week, but unfortunately, the market never really came back to where I needed it to before I kind of cut myself off for the rest of the week. Because after I took a few losses, like I was done for the whole week, right? I wasn't going to keep losing and, keep risking money, right? I hit my maximum weekly threshold, right, at this point. So it's unfortunate because Friday, we actually came into that point of interest that I talked about last week, and the market gave us a nice sell off, right? And I'll be honest, right? When it comes to trading, I might do things differently when I'm trading in front of a crowd than I will by myself, right? Me personally, I don't really mind taking losses. But when you're trading in front of an audience, sometimes you try to overcompensate for the safety of everybody. And that way it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to take a trade and then I be up big and I didn't get nobody else in the trade. So I'm going to just choose not to trade today. And that's kind of what I did on a Friday, right? And then as we could see, we came and hit this internal range liquidity that we actually talked about, I want to say last week on the weekly outlook, or no, we didn't do a weekly outlook last week. So this is probably Monday evening for my personal community because we go live Monday evening as well. But was looking at this Asia range, and I thought we could come up and tap internal range liquidity that night, like for New York session or for London session at night, but possibly New York session the following morning. And that never happened, right? The market just continued to drop. And then I actually ended up sending this buyout, and the buy didn't get triggered, right? So, this is the course of 1, 2, 3, 4 days, right? So I'm taking a lot of other trades in the meantime, and I ended up, losing on multiple positions. And then that's when the Nas actually did come to the zone. I just wasn't really motivated to take the trade, don't deal with too many more positions for the week. So I just kind of told myself, you know what, I'm straight. I ain't gonna really worry about it. Let that one get away from us. All right. But it's just kind of crazy to see. And that's the mind game that it plays with you. You just got to execute off your edge every single time it pops up. You can't tell yourself, I'm not dealing with the market today because I took losses previously. That's your emotions getting involved. That's psychological gains that's taking place, right? But if you can kind of tell yourself every single time your edge appears, you're gonna take a trade, then you're gonna be solid. So again, I'm telling y'all this full transparency because even I deal with this stuff myself. The same things that a lot of y'all deal with, we all deal with it together. We just deal with it at different levels. You know what I'm saying? We can handle it at different levels, right? So, it is what it is. That was a banger trade that we missed out on. I do feel like we could still come down to this level that we got marked up here at, 17,582. So I would be paying attention to 17,582 or 17,532. And once we get down to those levels, let's see if we can get a reaction to go bullish. All right. Um, this is a nice drop off. I will say this is a nice sell off, but Nas in general is just more bullish than it is bearish all the time, right? You look at Nas on the weekly chart, it's extremely bullish all the time. And even the large drop offs are followed by bullish rallies, right? So we got a pretty large sell off right here. I do believe that we'll get a bullish rally some way, somehow. So again, once we get underneath this point of internal range liquidity, I would be looking at potentials for buys in either one of these areas. This is just the top of the, sell to buy candle. This is the 50%. So one of them is going to give you a 3.5 risk to award. The other one is going to give you just about 7.7 risk to award. All right. So obviously the second one gives you a much better return on your investment, but the first one is easier to take because less stars have to align in order for you to get into the trade, right? So the first one is easier to take. The second one, you got to wait a little bit longer. You got to be a little more patient. But if it does hit, you're going to make a lot more, right? You're going to make more than twice the money. So take with that what you will. Take one, take both. Don't really matter to me. Just make sure you use good risk management, whatever you do. All right. We got GBP CAD. All right. I'm still interested in this. I was looking at this last week and the market just took off without me. Right. But now that we rebounded, we came back into that area that I was paying attention to. I'm still looking at this point. Right. I'm still very much interested in 1.694 for potential entry. I do think that we can come down one more time, right? The market popped up for Friday. I think it wants to get everybody buying prematurely. I think it wants people to start chasing and move prematurely, but eventually I do feel like we can get some sort of way for the market to come back down here, whether it's for London, early New York, some sort of market manipulation. We pushed down a little bit lower. I would still definitely be interested in that level. Now the main difference is instead of me getting 115 pips out of it, I can move my take profit up since we pushed up to make a new high for a take profit of 170 pips. All right. So now we ain't do much but add 60 pips to our primary target. All right. So keep your eyes on this, man. 1.69, I feel like would be a nice area to start. Let me say 1.694 would probably be a good area to start looking at some positions. All right. 1.694. So keep your eyes on that for a GBP CAD. Kind of moving fast here. Gold. This was actually one of the trades that I lost on last week. And it's crazy because I bought it right after what was it, CPI news came out. And I knew that this buy would get erased one way or another, but I just bought a little too early. Like, and the crazy thing is, this happened with me a month ago with Nas, and I made a similar mistake last week. So, just trying to be more consciously aware of it so you don't make the same mistake more than once. But like that kind of messed me up because I was like, dang, like I made that mistake previously. I kind of made it again. And that's never fun. You never want to make the same mistake all the time. But I did buy slightly prematurely, man. I bought like 30 minutes too early on gold because I knew that we was gonna come back up. But unfortunately, I started taking buys like right here because we had cleared lows over to the left. But if I would have just waited for the accumulation to take place like it does here, we would have been good, right? So I'm not showing y'all this trying to like cover my butt or nothing. Like it's just the truth. It's just the fact of the matter that I took a trade a little prematurely. I probably should have waited for the accumulation to play out. And right here, as we could see, the market starts consolidating, clearing lows, consolidating. That's when it really wanted to take off. So, we did take a trade here, but it was unofficial. So, like, if it went into profit, I wasn't going to, pound my chest or nothing because I told my team on the live stream Wednesday morning, I was like, look, we already took a loss. We already took a couple losses for the week. So if y'all don't want to take this, I completely understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be mad at y'all if nobody wants to take it because you don't want to lose 3-4 trades in a row. But I said I am taking a small jab at this, and hopefully I can at least make back a couple of my losses, which I ended up doing. But again, it's not necessarily a quote unquote official trade because I ain't sent it into the signals chat. It was just like if you on a live call, you might know about it, right? But other than that, I personally think gold is going to continue bullish, but similar to GU, I think it's going to drop first, right? And as we drop, we're going to actually find a floor. This is what I believe is going to happen, right? None of us can 100% predict the future, but if I was to mark up the charts right now, I would see us going underneath. I would see us dropping back into this sell to buy area, this area imbalance. Because just looking at what happens, we actually clear lows to the left before, crossing over to make a new high. So, all of this realistically would be considered a strong hezi because the market is consolidating and then we push down and sweep lows. We sweep previous lows before we actually push up to the upside. So now understanding that, I just got to play, simple market structure at the end of the day, right? It's real simple. Now I'm just looking at the overall direction of the market. We got a low that created a new high. Now we should come down, create a higher low before we continue up. And I already told y'all on GU, when we got large areas of imbalance like that, I don't look for these areas to be respected. I look for these areas to get completely violated. So I'm looking at, 1.6 not 1 point, but I'm looking at 2032, right? 2032 on gold by the end of the week, right? 2032 on gold by the end of the week. Yo, you got to hit the link in my bio, brother. You got to hit the link in my bio. Y'all just getting the audio on IG. I ain't about to keep picking up my phone and all of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hit the link in the bio. This call is I do one call a week in my free Telegram. Other than that, you got to tap into my community. $60 a month for 6 calls a week. Nobody else giving you that much value for that price. $60 a month for 6 calls a week. $60 a month for 6 calls a week. Nobody gives you that much value at that price. I might up it soon. So tap in while you still can. All right. But yeah, gold loves them liquidity sweeps. Gold loves to sweep liquidity more than once, too. That's another thing that I noticed. It'll do it and then it'll do it again. Right. And you know, that's why I feel like you gotta be patient with gold, but you can't be too patient because it'll take off on you too. But yeah, gold, I got a love-hate relationship with gold. Gold is like, you see people in them toxic relationships, but they never leave. You know what I'm saying? Because because it's something keeping them there. Like I feel like that's kind of like how me and gold are, because it's like I enjoy gold when it's acting right, but when it's acting up, I want to leave it. And it's like I say, like one of them toxic relationships. You swear you done with her, and then you come right back, and that's kind of how I am with gold personally. But yeah, gold is very sporadic, very emotional pair, right? And I like to personify trading. I like to personify the pairs. I always ask myself, like, if the markets could speak to me, what would they say? And that's how I understand price action. That's why you see no indicators on my charts. I trade raw price action because I'm actually speaking to the charts and it's speaking back to me, and that's how I kind of understand what's happening. And I like to personify the charts, right? There's a lot of pairs that are, very cool, calm, relaxed, and like AUDCHF, for example, right? Very cool pair. AUD very calm pair. And then there's pairs that are more energetic, and that would be like your golds, obviously like Nas, maybe GBP CAD sometimes, right? But it just depends. Just depends. Sometimes, sometimes they all acting right, sometimes they not, right? But that's neither here nor there. Euro CAD did the money dance for us too. And what was so disappointing about this, I actually closed this trade early to take another trade, right? I got in right here and I ended up closing like right here. So that way I wouldn't be over leveraged for another trade that I wanted to take. Then the second trade I took ended up being a loss, and this one ended up going perfect. And I swear, like, that's some of the stuff, bro. I kid you not. It's like those psychological mind games. And the way you could avoid this, I'm gonna be honest. The way you could really avoid this is like by not trading a bunch of pairs like me, right? I'll be honest. I'm kind of hard headed when it comes to that. I just love trading a lot of pairs. I love having an opportunity every single day to trade, right? So for me, I personally, it's a risk that I'm willing to take. But if you having this issue as an up and coming trader, the best thing you could do is cut it down to 1 or 2 pairs, because now you're never gonna be having to pick and choose whether or not you should or shouldn't take a trade. There's only one trade to take, and whether it's gonna be there or it's not. So it's not like I got 3 trades that I want to take. Which one should I take? You never deal with that if you cut down on your pairs. It's just a yes or a no. It's not like 3 yeses. So which one do you act on? You know what I'm saying? So one thing I could say is I've fallen victim of this a few times, but trading multiple pairs has also helped me too, especially when it comes to having a community and wanting to be able to send out setups consistently. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a beginner, trade 1 pair. So that way you don't have to deal with confirmation bias, and you don't have to pick and choose. You don't have to, be in a situation where I have to decide whether or not I'm going to take this trade, this trade, this trade, or this trade. that's a bad place to be, because now that affects your risk management. Now instead of risking 1%, you asking yourself, do I risk a 0.25% on each setup? And now that's gonna mess you up even more, because let's say you risk a 0.25% on a setup, you win two, lose two. Now you only made half of what you could have made, but then you also took some losses that were unnecessary. So it's like, as much as you think you got to trade multiple pairs, I'm gonna be honest, you can make all the money you need on one, maybe two. That's why my top two are GU and Nas, right? I trade other pairs because I do so many calls. I want to have consistent setups for my community, right? But truth be told, you only need like a pair or two, all right? So keep that in mind for all my up and coming traders that are still trying to master their psychology, all right? Um, USD CAD, as I explained before, when we got these super large imbalances, I look for the market to come and take them out completely. So I'm actually looking for this to go lower, right? This was another example of, seeing a setup, but seeing it a little prematurely. And this is why, sometimes you got to just let these zones last. Like some of these zones don't hit when you want them to. As you can see, this is February 6th. I say, okay, we're going to come clear these highs, then we're going to possibly drop. By the time that happened, I wasn't even prepared for it because it happened a whole week later. So, you just want to like set alerts as well. If you could set alerts for yourself and just kind of be on point with where it is that you want to get into the market, that'll help tremendously. But overall, I have the market continuing bearish. Even though we had this big push up, I do feel like that was a false move, right? I am leaning more towards the bear side of the dollar this week. Might be going against what a lot of people think, but I trade what I see personally, right? I never really let fundamentals play too much of a factor. I'm very technical based guy. So with me clearing highs, with me having this large boost of volume right here, now the market's just kind of trickling down. I do feel like we'll go bearish, at least to start the week. We could reverse later towards the end of the week. But when I see lows like this, I just feel like they have to get taken. So maybe the market drops immediately. Maybe we push up a little bit higher. I'm expecting bearishness to kick into the market. Maybe once we get down here, maybe we, react bullish. But for now, I'm gonna start the week off kind of bearish when it comes to USD CAD, right? Maybe we finish the week off differently, but I do feel like we're gonna start off bearish. All right. So now I'm gonna go through a few more pairs. I just went through like my starting lineup, and those are the pairs that I focus on the most. But I do look at, a few more pairs, especially like on a weekly outlook, just because I know a lot of y'all may trade different pairs than I do. So it's the weekly outlook. It don't mean I'm gonna necessarily take every trade that I see, but I will look at some more setups just for the sake of people that trade pairs that I don't trade. All right. I don't really trade US 30. I just really trade Nas, but they're very similar. So whatever I see on Nas, US 30 will probably follow. Um, I'll take a look for you real quick, but I don't really trade US 30, to be honest. Yeah, so selling off currently. Uh I mean, it looks like it could keep going, truth be told. I do want to buy here on Nas, so I'm trying to see if I see the same thing on US 30. I don't really see a clear buy opportunity, but I do see a lot of lows that got cleared out with this sell move. So again, like I explained before, you can't really trade indices the way you trade currencies. Because when it comes to a currency, you'll just simply be like, okay, break a structure, market dropping, right? But when it comes to indices, when you get a sell off, when you get a sharp sell off, the market usually rebounds to go higher. So that's the main difference, right? When you're trading currencies and you get a break of structure lower, then the market usually continues to go lower for a while. But when you look at indices, again, every sharp sell-off, like right here, rebounds and makes new highs. Sell off here, we rebound and make new highs. Sell off here, rebound and make new highs. So what are the chances that that most recent sell-off finds a way to rebound somewhere in here to make new highs? So me personally, I'd probably be looking at, you know, 38,400 area, maybe a little bit lower, like 38, 38. And kind of peek in these areas to see if you could find the market, find some support and turn around. Yo, if you're on my IG live, you need to go hit the link in my bio. I'm not turning the camera around. Hit the link in my bio to get access to the Zoom call. All right, hit the link in my bio. I only got two hands. I need one for my computer. I don't really want to hold the camera. I'm gonna be honest. Hit the link in my bio, you'll get access. NZD CHF, GJ. What else y'all got? What else y'all got? NZD CHF. Very long accumulation right here, as y'all can see. Now I feel like the market is more than likely probably just gonna create fresh highs. Yeah, we're gonna create fresh highs. Now the question becomes, do we get a sell-off more on the intraday? Because just because the market is bullish on a 4 hour doesn't mean it can't go bearish on an intraday perspective. So, from the intraday perspective, I do see this right here being pretty decent supply zone, right? Like we clear out low highs to the left, then we actually transition and make a new low. And now the market is starting to approach that level, right? So now as the market starts to approach that level, we can kind of see how the market is starting to slow up a bit, right? So it's not just impulsing towards this zone, it's actually starting to, slowly push up towards this zone. So me personally, I wouldn't be surprised to see, okay, we got relative equal highs right here. So go ahead and mark it off. So we got equal highs forming right here. So that means you got to assume that there's buy side liquidity above the highs because all the retail traders are trading equal high or double tops and double bottoms and stuff like that. Like I say, if that's what you trade, that's what you trade. But that's just not how I trade. So most people are taking sales right now, right? Or whenever the market opens up, they're gonna start taking sales immediately, right away. All right. So if they start taking sales right away, you got to assume that there's buy side liquidity above that high. So if there's buy side liquidity above the highs, we could probably get a manipulation followed by a continuation, right? Because right now we're in the consolidation phase. Then we go into the manipulation phase right here. Then that'll be the continuation phase right there. All right. So that's what I would be looking for on NZDCHF. Whether it makes a new low or not is yet to be determined, but I feel like we'll at least drop, to clear out some of these, lows that created on the 4 hour. All right. We got GJ. GJ. I gave y'all this sell at the top of the market up here. Right. Nice, beautiful sell off. I caught another sell here. The buy never got activated though, so that hurt me. I ain't gonna lie, that hurt me right there. And you see how close you could be with these certain markets, and they'll just take off without you sometimes. And that sometimes you gotta be cool with that. I'm gonna be honest, it's frustrating, but you gotta understand how to roll with the punches, man. You gotta keep showing up every day. I always say trading is a lot like sales, right? If you ever did sales, you realize that every day ain't gonna be a great day. Every week ain't gonna be a great week. But if you keep showing up, you can still make a lot more than the average 9 to 5 job, right? So, there's like sales where you can make 30K one month, you might make 2K the next month, you might make 8K the following month, and the month after that, you make 10K. And if you break that down over the course of time, even though it's up and down, if you look at it year to year, you still gonna make more. You know, even though it's a roller coaster, you still make more over the year. And truth be told, that's a lot how trading is. A lot of people don't understand that, but trading is a lot like that, right? You miss out on big deals, big sales sometimes, big trades, but it eventually comes back on the next opportunity. So we missed out on that big buy, unfortunately. Market came here. I was looking at buys at the 50% level. Market did move up nicely. Now I'm just looking for the same thing to continue. I am pretty bullish on this. I do see the imbalance. I see all that. I really do, but I also see weak highs up here also. So when I see weak highs, I think that the imbalance is just there really to drop the market down into another buy. So I do see this imbalance, but I don't see a strong high. Okay. So I really feel like the market is just going to drop down in order to give me a stronger buy. Okay. So I would be looking at this area right here. I say start looking at 188.5. All right. Like set an alarm for 188.5. Look to get there. All right. Set an alert for 188.5. Look to get it in underneath there. All right. I'm just giving you round, bold numbers. Obviously, you see where the sell to buy candle is. If you can get in on that candle, then that's even better. But, if you can get in underneath there, it could be 188.35. It could be 188.4. Like, regardless of how you want to get in, it just should be underneath 188.5. All right. So that's what I would be looking for. Looking for that demand chain to keep, holding up. So yeah, I'm looking for the demand chain to keep respecting. That's what I would be personally looking for. All right. Check the chat real quick. Oil. Oil. Well, I can't tell you last time I looked at oil. I figured it was bullish. I put gas in my tank a couple days ago and I was appalled. Yeah, I think it's gonna fly realistically. This was the last time I really looked at oil for real. It was like the buys from down here. Yeah, that was going on I remember calling that one out. That was going on a year ago because I remember seeing the consolidation right here. Wanted to see the manipulation, which happened right there, and then the continuation. Then when we came and cleared out these equal highs, I figured we would retrace. I thought the market would just keep going right away, but obviously that retracement did come a lot lower than I initially expected. But that's completely fine because if we really look closely, that retracement came straight into a sell to buy candle with an imbalance, right? So we got a bullish hezzy crossover over there. Bullish hezzy crossover. And where the market respected perfectly. All right. If you know, you see the pattern. I know y'all see the hezzy crossover, right? For all my students. And that's where the market reacted from right there. All right. Actually got another one as well. Internal range liquidity. The market came and took that out. Now we return in bullish again. You see another hezzy crossover here, right? Where the market comes, clears out, internal range liquidity there, and we take off bullish again, all right? So now that we taking off yet again, I mean, I gotta assume that we just about to keep flying. I'll be honest, I think this is gonna make new highs. Overall, it's gonna make new highs. My only dilemma is I don't know where you would get in it right now. Like this was the buy for me. I'm not the best continuation type of trader. I'm gonna be honest. Even though you would quote unquote call this a continuation entry right here, it is, but it ain't, right? Because continuations on the higher time frame are reversals on the lower time frame. I'm a reversal trader and I trade lower time frames, right? So even though it looks like a continuation on the 4 hour, if I was to go down to the 15-minute, this would be a reversal. So, there's a difference right there. But me chasing the market after it's already bullish, that's not something that you're going to really see me do. So for me personally, I can't really tell you what I would do on it right now because I really wouldn't do anything. I know what direction I believe is going, but outside of that, I don't really have much of an opinion, right? The easy thing to say is that we can wait for it to come back down here, right? But that's the obvious answer. You know what I'm saying? Just wait for it to come back down to the sell to buy area down here. Get in again, right? That's the obvious answer. That's what everybody else is thinking. I try to give you a little more detail than that. Maybe take the 50% just to cut that risk in half. But other than that, I personally can't see myself taking any position on this until we at least retrace down there. All right. DXY. I don't really look at the DXY much. I just trade what I see. But I'm expecting some bearishness this week. Large push up for news. What was that? CPI, I believe. Sorry, my eyes burning, man. But huge push up. I think this was CPI, if I'm not mistaken. Now I just feel like the market is going to erase all of this. Whenever I get those big random news spikes, I always feel like the market is eventually going to come and take that out. And I haven't been wrong on that yet. The only thing that I be wrong on is my timing, right? And I also use such small stop losses that I might take a loss trying to catch the reversal of the news spike, right? Like this, for example, sometimes I'll do something like this and I got a tight stop and then it might knock me out just barely and then reverse. But if I trade it like most other people with like a 30 pip stop, I swear I'd probably have a 95% win rate. But I try to do my best to like minimize my risk. So even if I got to take an unnecessary loss here and there, to minimize my risk, I'm personally okay with that. But I do expect more bearishness to come into the DXY. Even if I come and look at this on the 5-minute, I mean, we see Asia session, we see the market consolidate and then we manipulate those highs. Then we come and break and make new lows. So I just feel like we're going to retrace and continue, probably retrace to like 104, like 104.5 or even 104.55, right? And then continue to make new lows. So yeah, I expect the entire news move to get knocked out. So this push up and then the push down realistically is the reason why I think GU is gonna drop and then go bullish. So I'm bearish on the dollar, bullish on GBP USD. All right. I'm gonna run through the Euro pairs real quick and then we can call it a day. Don't want the call to necessarily be too long. I gotta upload this to YouTube. The people that's watching the recordings, I don't want them to have to sit around for forever trying to watch the recording, right? We already went over EuroCAD. We went over GJ, but nothing on really Euro JPY. That's what that, and like I say, full transparency here. This is where the L started last week. I think this was the first loss I took last week. I was waiting for the market to come and clear these highs out. And we'd already called this on a weekly outlook. And crazy thing is I actually hit TP2 on a sell that I took right here. I took a sell right here. My stop loss was right here. And the market dropped here. I'd actually hit a take profit for 65 pips. But when the market came back to the high, I wanted to get back in the sell. I kind of married my bias, right? I married my analysis, and I ended up taking another sell, which ended up being a loss, right? So that's kind of where it all started last week. But nothing I'm really interested in there. Personally, Euro AUD, that's a consolidation, man. I mean, you're not really trending in one direction or another. So that's like a concern to me. We kind of been consolidating since the beginning of February. So, 2 weeks of just back and forth movement. Um, if I was really just looking at this chart, I would say hopefully we can come underneath 6409. If we can get down here, I feel like it's a much better opportunity to take buys down here rather than being caught in the back and forth movement right there. All right. Euro CHF, nothing really. Euro GBP, don't trade it. Yeah, Euro NZD, whatever. Yeah. So that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. This is being recorded as well. So if you guys missed anything, definitely go check out the recording also. But any other comments, questions, concerns, guys? Any other comments, questions, concerns? I'm definitely looking to bounce back this week. Markets bully me around a little bit. Maybe it's because I didn't do the weekly outlook, so I kind of went into the market a little, I ain't gonna say blind, but like a little ill prepared, right? I'm not sure what it was. The markets was definitely a little tough last week, right? So I got some making up to do. I'm excited to have this week in the chat. I'm excited that I had a rough week last week because it brought me back to reality again. I could be a little spoiled, right? Because you know we used to getting perfect entries, bro. I really need y'all to understand, like, we don't experience a lot of drawdown. Like, very, very seldom do we really experience a lot of drawdown. So, um, it was cool to know that we all still human here. And we took some losses, man. It kind of brought us back to reality. Make sure we doing what we need to do on a detailed level. Make sure we taking all the precautions, all the steps, not taking no shortcuts. Because I know what I'm not gonna do is have 2 bad weeks in a row. I'll make sure that don't happen. So, I'm really gonna be back in my bag this week. Really going over all the details needed, making sure I'm well rested, all of that stuff. So that way we could perform this week. Other than that, I don't really have no other pairs to really look at. We looking at potential GU longs. Might happen sooner rather than later. Might be like a midweek type of play, right? Nas, I'm expecting Nas to return back bullish here soon. All massive sell-offs on Nas eventually returns back bullish. So unless the market is going in a full-out recession, you should definitely expect the market to return bullish on Nas. Um, and at the levels that I let you guys know about. Oh, we talked about GBP CAD. We want to see us clear lows and potentially continue bullish. We talked about gold coming back into this sell to buy candle, then continuing bullish. Not really interested in Euro CAD. All right. So definitely appreciate y'all again for tuning in. I'm wishing y'all much abundance, much prosperity, and wishing y'all a phenomenal week in the markets. Let's really crush it. Let's go up this week. And let's do what we got to do to win and live life more abundantly. All right. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you're not a part of the community, I highly encourage y'all to join, tap in. $60 a month for 6 calls a week. Not too many people giving out that level of value. So I would love to have you guys on the inside, so that way you don't just have to rely on one call a week from me, but you could also trade with us just about every day. So lots of hands-on trading that we do in the community. So I'm looking forward for anybody who has enjoyed this call. I highly recommend you tap in, because now you can see the market in live time when the market is really cooking, right? The market ain't even open yet. But when the market is alive and well, and it's cooking and it's producing, movements and stuff like that, that's the best time to be on a call with me, because now I'm reacting to live market conditions. All right. So other than that, that's all I got, guys. Let's really turn up this week. Got a lot of projects that I'm releasing. So tap in if you guys, want any more information on some of the other things that I'm doing. You may have seen it on Instagram and stuff like that. But let's really just keep growing. Let's keep elevating, man. I'll see you guys at the top. In front of the top, because the bottom is way too crowded. Much love. Peace.